right now somewhere in Australia selling his vodka, and the costume designer, Deborah Nadulman, is in the balcony, so there are three of us. I watched this movie, and it's so strict. It's odd, isn't it? The music's fantastic, and it's just, this movie came about because of Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi's passion and love of essentially Black American music and rhythm and blues. And it's what's so funny to think about. But when we made this picture, it was all ABBA and the Bee Gees. It was, black. It was the what's that? YMCA. Those guys. I mean, it was all disco all the time. Motown wasn't even selling, and Ray Charles was the only one of the performers who was doing well at that time because Ray was doing country western brilliantly. So I look at it, everybody looked so young. It was like, Calloway was 82, he looked young. And I was like, wow.
You still look good.
Thank you. So do you. I'd like to thank the, what do you call it? The Melbourne Blues Brothers troupe. I don't know what you're called. Hit in the head, and I went, what the hell? It was a piece of white bread. Okay, I like it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
What's in a orange whip?
Orange whip is actually a real drink. It's like a soft, how would you call it? It's a blended, soft serve kind of ice cream thing, and they used to sell it in a powder, and the reason that's there is Deborah, the costume designer, my wife's assistant, was named Sue Dugan. I think the weirdest story is about Sue Dugan. She is now a nun. She really is. Well, anyway, but Sue's father, Mr. Dugan, worked extra when we shot the big crowd scene. And he came up to me and he said, excuse me, John, is this Mr. Dugan? He goes, he was a salesman for Orange Whip. He said, I think they'd give me $2,000 if we could get Orange Whip in the movie. I said, John, Andy, order some Orange Whip. What's interesting is John Andy, it's like the only one who actually could make that funny. That's where that's from. Anything else? Yes? Oh no, they were all amazing. I mean, they were different. What's extraordinary, the Blues Brothers band, it's a very interesting group because you've got Steve Cropper and Duck Dunn. Do you know who those guys are?
Yeah.
They literally are, first of all, Steve Cropper wrote Soul Man, Dock of the Bay, just almost every song you ever heard. They were the MGs. You ever heard of Booker T and the MGs?
Yeah.
They're the MGs. They're the heart of Stax Records, and they're brilliant musicians. And Steve Cropper and Duck have played for everybody on every record, from Paul Simon to Bob Dylan and the Beatles. Everybody. They're quite brilliant. Having them was extraordinary. And the horn section are these New York guys, totally different. I mean, it was a really interesting group. Matt Guitar Murphy, who's the black guitar player in the band. Do you know he was 58 years old when we made this? He looks better than